We're back! What up, everybody? It is Britt here. Today we will be doing Brittany's book review number 6 on The Mind of the Buyer. This book is by Harry Dexter Kitson, published by the Macmillan Company. This book was 206 pages and it took me about a week to 10 days to read. Of course, I took notes as usual. My overall impression of this book, it was a great sales book on psychology. It was a little older of a book. I really like that. I like to read newer and older and compare. I think that expands my knowledge on reading different types of books and the language. Rating, I'm going to give this book a 3.3 stars. I have to bring down my ratings a little bit. I did like this book, but it wasn't my all-time favorite. Statement about the author. Harry was an American author and psychologist around the 1920s. It's cool to learn from someone like him. He was into the law of attraction, even though he didn't say that. I can tell from his teachings. He wrote another book, How to Use Your Mind. This book talks about it. It sounds really good. Right up my alley. Great detail of the author's thesis and summary of the main points. So this book really dealt with a lot of the psychology of the mind of the buyer, the customer, as well as your own psychology. Sales is a psychology game, and basically in order to succeed, you really have to understand psychology and be able to influence not just the buyer and other people, in a good way of course, but also yourself. The mind is all. I really liked this book because it was really simple. It did definitely get into some concepts and I did definitely learn some new things, but starting out it was kind of very basic. It was about advertising and how people are drawn to color and motion. It kind of went on about some of these things, and to me that is like, duh. But then again, it's an older book, so you have to understand they weren't as advanced as we are now, and also I'm pretty advanced, so it's kind of fun learning some other books when you already know so much of that. However, if you are new into sales and marketing, this is definitely a great starter book. Starts out very simple and basic, and really the whole book is easy to take in. It talks about how people obviously are drawn to color for advertisements, but motion is even more powerful. I've also read a lot of sales and marketing books now at this point, so this was similar to some of them as well. Kind of like Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone. I'm going to make a great video on that one. I love that, so stay tuned. It mentions things like motion and how vital motion is. So for an advertisement, motion is more powerful than light. So if you have a really bright ad, of course that's great, but if you have it move, that's even better. It also mentions repetition and how repetition is great for sales. Repetition is great for sales. Repetition is great for sales. Of course, the more you repeat an ad and really get in people's subconscious, the more they're going to buy from you. Duh. But this book was written in 1921, so that is why some of the concepts are more basic and simple. Of course, I've studied them way more in depth, and it was in different times. In order to be really good at sales, you're really going to want to understand psychology and how humans work. It's like Psychology 101, this book, for sales. It goes back to instincts for a lot of the concepts as well. Like, people really love to use social support. The collective mind is a lot stronger than the individual mind. So when you have a group of people, you know, that's really powerful. As well as, especially if you're the leader, if you're the leader of a group, if you speak in plural, that's going to be very effective. Attention is very great in sales, and it may merge to interest. To create interest, give information about it. A great sales tool is to state in terms of old and new. So you can talk of an old problem, and then you could bring in the new thing, and you could say how this fixes the problem. People are interested in moving things, bright lights, loud noises, strong odors, and tastes. Kind of like animals. It also mentions how your vocabulary really impacts sales. You're going to want to surround your product with very descriptive words like perfect, very fitting and unique, not just generic like great, things like that. Perfect, pleasant, accurate, descriptive words. This book deals with a lot of psyche. I love that because I'm really interested in the mind and all that inner workings of there's more to meets the eye, the unseen, if you will. You're going to want to call action impelling images into the mind of the buyer. And you're going to want these images to be clothed in very pleasant feelings. Of course, in order to sell the product or service, you're selling the whole package. You're selling yourself. You're selling the atmosphere, the feel. There's more to it than just the product. You also want to make sure to make confidence in your buyer key. That is so vital. They are going to want to have confidence in you, in your product and service. So make sure you make it about them and you make sure they are happy and satisfied. That is the goal. It is about the customer. Suggestion is very powerful. You're going to want to use it only in the buyer's best interest. So do not use this for bad. That will come back to bite you in the butt. Karma is real. It's kind of like psychic visualization. See them with the object. It's a lot like the law of attraction, but it does not say that. But I see that, of course, in all throughout everything. That really makes the buyer move. It's pretty crazy. You can push the idea into the buyer's mind with as little force as possible. Concentration and focus are very key to this. You're going to concentrate the idea to one simple thing at a time for the buyer, and he should have no idea you are suggesting to him. Arrange the conditions for the sale. Strive for immediateness with the sale. You got to strike when the iron is hot. You have to know. You got to be in flow. Be careful though. You want to make sure it's natural, like the sale is inevitable, and that there won't be any objections. Keep your suggestions simple and do it one at a time. Less to no options are best at a time. I actually was midway reading this book or just finished it, so it was hot on my mind, and I got pulled over on my way to work. The officer said he clocked me at 106. I didn't really realize that this was a huge deal. I don't think I was going that fast, but whatever. I guess that's a felony. You know, my car's gonna get impounded, all this horrible shit. I'm gonna be thrown in jail. I'm gonna lose everything. I don't know. So I suggested giving me a warning, which he did. So it worked. Thank you. Why do they make cars go that fast if it's illegal? Because the system is whack. Suggestion is similar to affirmations. You're going to want to use positive suggestions only. No no's or nots. Very similar to the law of attraction, it just doesn't say it. I love that. So for example, accept no substitute means accept a substitute, because the no is basically canceled out because the main points of the sentence are accept and substitute. So when you say accept no substitute, your mind and your subconscious hears accept substitute, and that's what you get. It's a whole trick, but I will show you guys how to master it. Just stay with me. If somebody is trying to put off the sale, you can say, eventually, why not now? Right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with giving a little push. If you're going to do it today, tomorrow, what's the difference? Really, why not now? In sales, you're going to want to banish all fear and thoughts of negativity or failing. So it's a lot of self-coaching as well. So you're suggesting to yourself and really getting in your own mind as well. Before you meet someone, you can say, I will win to yourself. Or, my goods come up to every claim I make for them. Indirect suggestion is often more powerful than direct suggestion. Indirect auto-suggestion, such as straightening your spine, squaring your shoulders. These are signs of courage and confidence. You could also whistle. The suggestion will work on you and the buyer. You have to seize the moment. There is a psychological factor. That is the prime time. You have to be ready, waiting, and aware, and you have to get it at that time. Well, it's hot. There's a prime moment for that opportunity. Do not let it pass. You only got one shot. Do not miss this chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. Salespeople are the manipulator of ideas. It might be frowned upon in orthodox, but Who really cares? You're going to want to eliminate other ideas in the buyer for one idea to win, preferably one that works for both of you that you like as well. You must reckon with other ideas in order to glory the idea. Nourish and expand it so its bulk covers all others. Make it so powerful that they forget all other reasons, excuses, etc. Don't talk bad about other ideas. However, don't talk good about them either. You don't want to talk up an idea that doesn't really work for you, obviously. So give your main idea all the brain power and energy, and focus to drown out the others. Go into details, luxury, picture, so that your idea radiates prosperity, happiness, good things. Anything can spoil the sale, so be quick. Seize the moment until it is signed. Don't try to force it too soon before it reaches maximum dimensions. However, don't let it go too long so that it ripens and spoils either. You gotta find that sweet spot. It might take some practice. Everyone's a little different. You gotta gauge and be able to read the signs. You have to tell and be able to recognize the psychological moment. In order to tell, you can look for slight inclinations of the head and the trunk, minute contractions and relaxations of bodily muscles, even very slight changes like the size of the pupil in the eye. Wow. Or of course, there's the more obvious verbal signs, verbal responses. Be sure to ask questions. Stage the sale so that there are no other people, objects, distractions to ruin it. That is why a showroom is so great. Any disturbances can mess with it and the mind energy to ruin the sale. Isolate him from things and people. Evaluations of strengths and weaknesses of the book. I think I'm going to gauge this from a more neutral standpoint. Usually I'm more a little focused on the positivity. Sorry, natural. But I'm going to try to do a little more of both. So here we go. I do tend to pick really good books because I am smart like that and I learn from the best. So these aren't just random books. Strengths. This book had some really cool, unique ways to increase sales. It's funny because I've read a lot of sales books. A lot of them are more newer books, and I did still learn a lot of new concepts from this book. That is why with books, it's really great to do new and old. Many things stand the test of time, and it's really fun to compare. Weaknesses. I have noticed sometimes some older books, in order to get information out, it comes out in a more Machiavellian light. It's kind of odd. This book, it wasn't too extreme or crazy with it. Nothing like the 48 Laws of Power. But I did sense and see a little bit of that throughout. Today, it seems like I'm learning a lot of the same concepts, but they are taught and framed in a more positive light and basically teach for the good and do it for the good. So whether or not people do, I know there's crazy corruption in this world, so I know that not everybody is and that is flying, but I do still like that we are now taught to use it for the good. That's a good thing. This was also an older book, as I've mentioned, so when it's referring to people, it will say man. This was, of course, before women were included in society and viewed as humans. So I don't really like that. I think all older books should be rewritten to a non-sexist approach. I don't really care. Contribution or bias. I definitely agree with everything the author was stating in this book. These concepts absolutely stand the test of time. The psychology and the mind of sales for the buyer and yourself is still very relevant today. Some evidence for this is that it works. Understanding psychology and the subconscious and things on this level, as well as the law of attraction, is truly magic, and it can do wonders for your life, and that is why I'm here to show you. We can be aliens and manipulate reality by using these skills. It is very cool. This goes much deeper than sales and can be used in many aspects of life. Of course, selling is not just selling a product or service, but anything, you're always in sales. If you've ever seen the movie Matilda, you see the magic things one can do with their mind. That is real, and we can all do it. And It will be very fun if you stick along. Me and the elites know these are the keys to mastering your life and understanding the matrix of this mind and how the universe works with you and yours and everything in it. My warning, instead of a ticket or much worse, was also evidence of this. Final assessment, this was a marvelous book of sales and psychology. It ties the two topics together seamlessly. Love it. Any recommendations? I highly recommend continuing your education on sales, such as this book and many others. Keep watching my videos. Stay tuned. Sales is much more than just sales jobs. Sales is everything in life. Selling your vision, selling your ideas, selling where you want to go to lunch over somewhere else, selling your plan, how we should do it this way, selling we should hire this person instead of this person. It's all sales. Selling yourself to your significant other, selling your kids on doing their homework, selling your kids on eating their vegetables, selling your kids in general, selling yourself on that you should drink more water without fluoride. A bum trying to sell you to give him $1. Sometimes you may want to sell your kids. That is
trying to get
a
money
better
from
option than killing your kids. I see some parents doing that nowadays, and I think selling them is a great alternative. I've read many more books on the subject that dive a little deeper. Keep an eye out for those, such as Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone, Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss, and last but not least, Split Second Persuasion. They are all amazing. Stay tuned. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Get bright.